You're here because you've heard about the child who I helped progress from the reading age of a 7-year-old to a 9-year-old in just 6 weeks, or because you've been watching my Instagram content and something has resonated with you. You're probably sitting there wondering, should we pull the trigger? Should we sign up? The honest answer, yes, definitely. The longer you leave it, the further behind your child is going to fall, and that gap is just going to increase. Now, with the child I just mentioned, the child who progressed by 2 years in only 6 weeks, what didn't work for him was reading every night with his parents, having a bedtime story, having adapted texts in class. Those are all great things, but it's not what made the difference. What made the difference was him working with me and me focusing on his individual gaps to ensure that he made rapid progress. So you're probably sat there thinking, my child's confidence is being knocked, the school is telling me they're not making progress, they don't love reading anymore, I just don't know what to do, I'm having a battle every night to get them to read. If this is you, then this is going to be the right video and you need to make sure you watch it, because I'm going to talk to you about my tutoring services so that you can make an informed decision as to whether it's going to work for you. The first thing you need to know is a little bit about me. So I'm Colleen. I'm an experienced teacher, head teacher and SENCO. I was in the school system for 15 years. The reason I left was not because I didn't love my job. I absolutely loved it. But with a ratio of 30 children to 1 adult, or if you're lucky, 2 adults, it's almost impossible to make sure every child makes progress. And when I started doing research, I realised some painful truths. 1, children who are confident and enjoy reading are 6 times more likely to be above the age-related expectation. And the second thing is, children who leave school as confident readers often make £65,000 more in their work than the children who don't leave feeling confident. And when I heard that fact, I knew I needed to do something. And it clicked. I love reading, I love teaching reading, I'm good at it. I'm going to leave the system and start my own company, and that's how I've ended up with Colleen's Classroom. So let me talk to you about some of my strategies and why what I do really does work. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to use CGPE books and tests and exams to help your child. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by telling them the truth. So let's go back to this child I was talking about a minute ago, the child who made the 2 years progress in just 6 weeks. The first thing I did is I said to him, right, you need to read to me. I needed to hear what his reading was like. He put his head straight on the desk and disengaged totally. Now, I was prepared for this. His mum had told me that he wasn't just a reluctant reader, he was a reluctant learner. So I knew that was going to happen. She had also told me that he was starting to mess around in school, he was getting into a bit of trouble, and the main reason for this was embarrassment. So I managed to convince him to read to me, and then I was honest. I said to him, I totally see what you mean. You are really struggling with your reading, and I'm not surprised you don't enjoy it. As soon as I was honest with him, he just lifted his head up and he wanted to engage with me about it. And then I made him a promise. If you work with me and you put your full effort in, we are going to make a difference here, and we're going to improve your confidence, and we're going to get you to a point where you actually want to read. And so that was it. He agreed to engage and we started the process. So the first thing I do is I'm going to start my sessions in a low stakes way. So I do a low stakes activity, and it might be that we look at a picture together, and I'll just say, what can you see? Now, your child will be able to tell me as little or as much as they like. What will happen though is the more confident they get, the more they're going to start telling me. And then we can really dig into inferences without the pressure of actually needing to read. So that's always my first strategy. My next strategy is following the assessment. I target what your child needs specifically. So in order to be able to read, children need to be able to recognise sounds, they need to be able to blend, they need to know the vowels and consonants, and then be taught how to read using syllables so they can decode those multisyllabic words. They need to be able to read fluently, understand the punctuation, be able to understand the vocabulary, and then they need to be able to actually comprehend what they've read. There are so many elements. So I will focus specifically on what it is your child needs. So with this child that I was talking about, he could decode, he recognised his sounds, but he could not read fluently. And what was slowing him down specifically was his ability to read multisyllabic words. So that's where I started. Now he's able to read words like magnificent, whereas before he was struggling to read something with 2 syllables in it. So that's my next strategy. The other thing that I will always do is I get to know your child's interests. So I discovered what he really liked, and I chose a book that I knew was going to give him confidence because he'd be able to read it, but also something that would pique his interest. And that really did make a difference for him. So those are just some of my strategies. The truth is, it's far more complicated than that. There are so many steps and so many things that I use to be able to help your child, but that's almost the system. I will make sure I'm targeting exactly what they need. But you don't just want to go off of that one success story. Actually, there are so many more. So for example, there was one child I was working with and she really struggled with knowing her sounds. And now she's at the point where she's mastered every sound that I've taught her. There was another girl, and I've talked about her in some of my Instagram videos. She absolutely hated reading. And recently I was teaching a lesson. She was off sick from school that day with tonsillitis, and she still joined in with the session because she was desperate to do the reading with me. So it's not just the progress academically that they will make, it's also the progress in their confidence and their love of reading, and that's so important as well. Elephant in the room, let's discuss the concerns that most parents have shared with me before they've signed up. They are now part of my programme and no longer have those concerns, but it's important to talk about them. So one concern, is online better than face-to-face, or is face-to-face better than online? A lot of people have the misconception that face-to-face is better. It's not. I was also of that belief before, and my belief has been broken. Once I started my tutoring services, I decided to try online, and I love it. The children are so engaged because the technology I can use is really fun for them. It's also teaching them computer skills as well, which is great, but it engages the children so much more. So I'd really recommend online sessions over face-to-face now. That's been a complete change for me also. Another thing that parents will ask me is, I've had a tutor before, why is this going to be any different? Well, the reason for that is because I don't use CGP books like I mentioned. I don't look at exams. I do get to the point where I cover exam questions, but I don't use that as my teaching method. And also the difference is I've been a head teacher and a SENCO also. So I have been responsible for teaching teachers how to teach, but I've also worked with the children who are really struggling. That was my job role for a very long time. So I'm able to be really specific and forensic with what your child is going to need. Can't my child's teacher just catch them up? No, probably not. Your child's teacher is probably incredible. I have huge respect for teachers. I'm a teacher myself. They are just incredible. But the truth is, like I mentioned before, with that ratio of teachers to children, it's going to be really difficult for them. And your child, if they've fallen behind, needs targeted support. The next question is always, how can I trust a stranger on the internet with my child's education? Valid question. What you need to know is that first of all, I record all of my sessions and the recordings will get sent to you. So from a safeguarding point of view, we've got that cover, which is nice for you to know, but also reassuring for me. The second thing I'd advise you to do is look at my YouTube channel, which you're probably on right now, and have a look at my tutorial with Beth. And she will talk you through the sessions that I've done with her child, and then you can hear it from a parent rather than me. Also on my Instagram, I have testimonials as well, so have a read through those because that will make you feel a little bit more confident. The biggest question, the investment. Is it going to be worth it? Now, I'm not going to lie to you, investing in a tutor can be pricey. Right now, you don't know about my pricing, and that's because I discussed them in the discovery call. I have lots of different packages to help parents out, and it's really dependent on exactly what your child needs. So yes, there is going to be an investment, but will it be worth it? 100%. Investing in your child is the most important thing you can do. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if investing now means your child makes £65,000 more than their peers, then yes, it's definitely going to be worth it. Another uncomfortable truth. A study by the University College of London found that just under half of teenagers who failed to obtain a grade 4 or above for their GCSEs were identified as already being behind when they were in primary school. So if your child has fallen behind, they're struggling to engage, they've lost that love of reading, you're having battles every night, you have two options. Option number 1, carry on doing what you're doing. Try and research some things I've mentioned in my video, keep battling through every night and hope that things change. Or option 2, you can sign up to my services, I can take the reins and help with your child's progress in reading, and I can also help you to feel less guilty about watching your child struggle. So the next time your child says to you, I can't do this, reading is boring, I'm not very good at this, you're going to be able to say to them, don't worry, we've got you the support you need. If you would like my support, either click the link below and book a discovery call, or go to my Instagram page at the top of my YouTube, click the link and send me a DM. Say something like reader or help and I'll respond to you and we can get started.